Hello everyone, Bad Gamer here, and today I'm just going to go over this video or react to this video. It's called OpenAI Founder Admits AI is Not Working. Um, the reason I chose to respond, or not respond, that's bad terminology, react to this video is because I am involved in tech and I'd like to be able to react to tech. And so this is going to be my first reaction video, and it's going to be revolved around OpenAI and just AI in general. Now, I don't know if this video is going to be kind of like clickbait or what have you, but we'll see. All right.
Andrej Karpathy is one of the founders of OpenAI, and he sort of helped invent the modern AI stack. He's the guy that coined the term vibe coding. And there's a video on YouTube. He's at a conference, and he's got that Andre smile on his face. And he says that he's been using these sort of AI coding tools. And
Okay. I just started to notice that with the latest models, the chunks just came out fine, and then I kept asking for more, and it just came out fine. And then I can't remember the last time I corrected it, and then I was just like, trusting the system more and more and more as time went on. Then I was vibe coding. All right.
that he has just stopped checking the output. And he said that he used to have to correct it all the
I wasn't really paying attention to what I was reading there. So he stopped looking at the output. Let's continue.
time, and now he doesn't. And he's sort of telling this like it's, good news that this is a progression, like it's a productivity tip, where the tip is just to give up on reviewing the code.
Basically not doing anything. You're just not doing anything. Like if you're just letting the AI do everything for you, are you really doing something at that point? Like, could you say you did X, Y, and Z if X, Y, and Z was done by someone else? Like, if I told someone how to do something and how I wanted it done, like, let's say I'm building a house, like, having someone build me a house, and I'm telling them this is how I want it done, do this, do that, and they do that, did I build the house? Or did I just tell someone else to build the house?
No, that was your whole job, bro. Now you just give up and you give a TED talk about it apparently. But then here's where it gets interesting or weird or contradictory, because right after he tells this story, he tells another story, and he says with his signature openness and curiosity, he's like, isn't it amazing that these models can refactor like 100,000 line code base and like do these incredible software engineering tasks, but when you ask it to count how many R's are in the word strawberry or whether you should drive or walk to a car wash, the model chokes. And he's like,
I mean, that is pretty fair point. Um, and I think that kind of stems from how AI works. Like, basically, you have, let's just say you have a X and Y L-shaped grid, right? And vertically and horizontally, you have a set of numbers, and those numbers go from 0 to, like, let's say 100 or 0 to 50 or whatever. You have a set of numbers that are unique somewhat. So, basically, what I'm saying is what AI does is it finds the similarity of those words based on where it's plotted on that grid. So, the reason AI had such a vast improvement is because AI, when it started, did not have a big like grid to pull from. So when it would see grid like let's say 1 7, it would have potentially 30, 40 different words there. Well, the more and more and more that grid expanded, meaning bigger models come out, bigger grid, you can now spread those words out. And now 1.7 now has maybe 3 or 2, and then it expands more, and then maybe now it's 1, and then somewhere else there's 10, then it expands more and more and more, and it keeps on expanding. And the more and more and more it expands and gets unique plots on the grid, the more and more and more AI is able to predict what words are unique and what words are similar. So, could be something to do with that as to why it has those minor hiccups but could do really well in other areas. Or, who knows? But anyway, let's continue.
Asking us, dude. He's like, how is it possible? Dude, you tell us, bro. And he gives an example of an app he was working on called Menu Gen. And the example's a little bit technically convoluted. Agent just made an assumption that just didn't make any sense with like reusing emails. And he's like, that's the kind of thing that, if I didn't catch it, it would have been really catastrophic. But so, he was telling this story, like a little personal anecdote that was, meant to be charming. It's like, isn't that funny how these agents just do these silly little things? And it's like, dude, that is not funny at all, okay? Because this is the same technology that's supposed to be replacing doctors and shit. And like doing your taxes, dude, there's nothing funny about these.
I mean, just imagine, like, if it can't even count the amount of R's in strawberry, imagine AI, which it is now, being used in surgery, those AI machinery. I mean, if it can't even count the amount of R's in strawberry, are you really going to trust it? Like, if your doctor told you there were 6 R's in strawberry, or 20 R's in strawberry, or 1 R, are you going to trust them to do the surgery on you? Probably not. Now, are you going to trust the AI to be able to do what it needs to do? Me personally, no.
Little mistakes here. And in a moment of very pure honesty, which is why I love Andre, he says, when you actually look at the code, sometimes I get a little bit of a heart attack because it's not super amazing code necessarily all the time. It's very bloaty. There's a lot of copy paste. There are awkward abstractions that are brittle. It works, but it's just really gross. And what this tells you right now is that.
So, an example of that, I've used AI to do something. And basically, all it needed to do is make a function, and that function would be repeated in different sections of the app. But instead of just making the function and then calling that function when it needs to be used in a different spot of the app, what would happen is it would just take that function, copy it, and paste it into the file that is for the other section of the app. Instead of just saying, oh, let's just call this function, and let's just call the function foo. Let's call function foo and let that function deal with this because it's doing the same exact thing. And that's things that junior developers understand. Junior developers are able to understand that if you have something that gets repeated, like something like a function that needs to be called multiple times in different spots of the app, don't create 20, 30, 40 different functions of the same thing. Create one function, call the function. That's it.
This is the frontier. This is the things that you're not going to hear engineers with a job admit to because they're riding on the fact that the CEOs don't know this. That the solution these engineers who you hear constantly hyping AI, they're hoping to hide this fact that the code is giving someone like Andre a heart attack. He's having a medical event, dude, every time he looks at the code.
Okay, that's a little bit of a exaggeration. A medical event every time he looks at the code.
Software startup will now need to have like a ping pong table, espresso machine.
They're gonna need to have a doctor, their own hospital right there.
And a guy with a defibrillator in the corner just waiting, dude. Waiting for someone to open a pull request. Pair programming is going to be reinvented. It's going to be you and a cardiologist just pair programming. And his job is to make sure you don't just pass out, dude, from the slop. The stand up is going to be totally different now. It's going to be like, what did you do yesterday? What are you doing today? Any blockers? Any chest pain? And the room is like laughing. Dude is like, haha, that's so funny, dude. Oh, you get a heart attack every time you look at the code. It's like, dude, that's what we've all been saying, dude. The code is horrific.
I mean, yeah, yeah. I mean, obviously it's a extreme over exaggeration, but uh, yeah. I mean, the code is sometimes, and I mean, not always. Sometimes AI is very surprising. Like, oh wow, you did that, and I didn't have to tell you to do that. Oh, fantastic. Maybe it's going in the right direction. But then other times you're just like, oh, yeah, yep, okay, yeah, that's totally great. Thank you, AI.
And Andre describes his workflow as basically writing an extremely detailed document explaining everything that you want the code to do, every single edge case. You write it in Markdown in English, and you try to be as precise as possible to get the best results. And then the AI writes the code based on the document. And, I heard this and I'm like, dude, this sounds so familiar, right? It's like, you write something very detailed with very complex logic that's very specific that you want to make sure is perfectly situated so there's no issues. And because Andre is a good engineer, when he looks at the AI code, he tells it, hey, can you simplify this? And the model's like, I can't, bro. I can't simplify it any more than this. And Andre clearly sees a way to simplify it, and the AI just can't figure it out. And I swear to God, if any of you write in the comments that it's a skill issue, dude, and he gives an explanation.
Um, that kind of reminds me of a time like you ask an AI to do something and it's a repetitive task, and the AI is like, to save mine and your time and inconvenience, like the AI, it gets inconvenienced or it even understands time. AI doesn't understand time. Um, it's like, nah, I'm not doing that. And then you keep on and keep on and keep on asking, and it does the same thing over and over and over. Anyway, it just kind of reminded me of how annoying sometimes AI could be, or trying to be personal, but it's just like, really? Okay. Thank you, Mr. AI.
For this, he keeps coming back to RL, reinforcement learning, essentially the cherry on top of the base training data, really curated training set that the models essentially teach it very specific skills. And he says essentially that if the task you're trying to do is not well represented either in the base data or in the RL data, there's no force on this planet that can make that LLM solve this problem for you. And so he's very honest about the fact that this is just a very sophisticated autocomplete. It's just really bizarre because on the one hand, he says he stopped checking the work because the models have made less and less mistakes. On the other hand, he says he gets a heart attack when he looks at the code. He says that the model.
Yeah, exactly. It's extremely dishonest. Starting off by saying doesn't even check it anymore, and then immediately goes into how checking it gives him a heart attack. Well, I think I know why he doesn't check it anymore.
Has made dumb mistakes in his code base, and you could tell that when he started the interview, he really wanted to make it, clear that he's about to say some negative things later on, but he wants to make it clear that he's not an AI skeptic, that he's an AI accelerationist, that he's all about agentic and vibe coding. I do want to leave you with something that he said that was very useful for you if you're looking to get employed as a software developer. He says that a lot of people are hiring for this right now because they want to hire strong agentic engineer.
Oh my god. I hate that term. Basically, you're not an engineer. Sorry to break it to you. You're not an engineer. You're a prompter.
But he says that what I'm seeing is that most people have still not refactored their hiring process for agentic engineering capability. They're still sort of interviewing on leak code and weird technical problems, like giving out puzzles to solve. Here's what he proposes, which I think is really good. He says, I would say hiring has to look like, give me a really big project and see someone implement that big project. Let's write, say, a Twitter clone for agents and then make it really good, make it really secure. Before, if you wanted to get a job and you wanted to interview well, you would practice leak code and abstract puzzles and things like that. I think the thing you practice now is writing specs.
I mean, But the thing is in the hiring process, yeah, I mean, they want you to understand how to code. They want you to understand how to do a bunch of things that aren't always useful. I mean, it could be useful given the circumstance or the context, but it's not always useful. And yeah, I mean, if you're hiring someone to be a agentic engineer, why can't they use AI? You require them to use AI on the job. Why can't they use AI in the interview? I mean, makes no sense.
If during an interview someone said to you, build a clone of Twitter X, the question is, what would the spec you write be? Now, if you've never practiced that at home, you've never written a spec about building a Twitter clone, you might not know what problems there are to solve. And so you'll write something that's really simple, but as the agent starts to build it, it'll start choking on a bunch of things that you didn't properly specify. Things like
Yeah.
tokens, session length, cookie expiration, change password.
I mean, even just like authentication tokens. I mean, by default, a lot of the times, AI wants to put all of your information into local storage. So you have all of your sensitive tokens that just go straight into local storage. Instead of just storing things that aren't useful in local storage, it wants to store everything in local storage. And I mean, I guess sometimes it could be fine, but when you're making something that you want to protect against cross site injections or whatever, what have you, I mean, you kind of want to make sure you keep some things a secret and put it into a secure, let's just say, vault.
Rate limiting, and even if you practice things at home like building a recommendation engine, imagine how impressive that would be to the person you're interviewing with. I've said often on this channel that there isn't much skill in agentic engineering because Claude is doing most of the things. What there is good skill in is not giving something to Claude until it's ready, because otherwise you waste a lot of time going back and forth. So the more you can one-shot things, there's a skill in that. And I mentioned a recommendation engine. I mean, if that's not something you've practiced before, you would never in an interview just suddenly add to your prompt, also build a recommender system, algorithm. If you practice that a couple times, it's very easy to then do in an interview and surprise people who would never expect that from you. Because in truth, the thing you're going to be tested on in an interview is your ability to one-shot. You're not going to have time to sit there and work with an agent for 4 hours or something unless it's a take-home. If you're an employee,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you're in an interview and you have to go through 100 different prompts just to get one thing done, I mean, obviously there's a problem there.
employer who has not updated their hiring process, this might be one way to approach it. Overall, I get the sense from Andrej's interview here that he doesn't really have the answers to what is happening in the industry, what are things you'd learn.
I mean, not even just that, but it's just dishonesty. I mean, it's kind of yeah. I mean, you start off the conversation by saying that you don't even check the output anymore because that's how great it is. Like that's what he's implying. To then say, oh yeah, when I check it, I get a heart attack, and no wonder he doesn't check it anymore. And then goes on into other things that are relevant, but not exactly things that I know a whole lot about. Like I don't know a whole lot about agentic related stuff when it comes to like what you should do in a interview or like interview best practices for it and things like that. So I mean, I don't really know a whole lot about that, but my limited knowledge, I mean, that at least made a little bit of sense. But still, I mean, it just kind of came off just in general very dishonest and misleading.
Interviewer tries to ask him, what are things that you think will be valuable in the future if AI gets good? What are things that are still worth learning? And honestly, I don't think Andrej could really answer the question. You know, he gave a response, but it was sort of empty. And it's not because Andrej can't answer. It's because these are hard questions that nobody has figured out, even Andrej. And so if you're feeling a
I mean, also, how are you going to answer that question? I mean, he's kind of, as the title says, founder of OpenAI. I mean, he has a vested interest in it. So, like, how are you going to answer that question?
little lost. I hope you feel some sense of solace in the fact that even Andre feels a little lost. So I hope that helps, and thank you.
I mean, I don't think he feels a little lost. I think he's just being a little dishonest. I mean, vested interest, I get it. It's whatever. I get it. I understand it. He's not wanting to say something that affects his company negatively. I mean, I get it. So, I mean, I don't think he's lost. I think he's just being dishonest, little malicious, but yeah, anywho, that's the video that I wanted to react to. My overall opinion is basically just that. Kind of just came off a little bit dishonest, came off like he was trying to portray something down a path, and then it kind of diverted a little bit, and then it kind of just turned into something completely different. I mean, all on the same topic, obviously, but yeah, it just felt a little. My immediate first thoughts dishonest. So yeah, that's the video.
For watching.